Today we are talking budget. Do you struggle keeping up with your budget? Or worse yet, you don't even have a budget at all? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Firmino, this is Project Abacus, and today I'm gonna be showing you exactly what I do when I create my budget. When we talk about budget, we always hear the same thing: spend less than what you make. And I completely agree with that. However, very often we find ourselves always going against that principle. Our tendency is always to spend more than what we make. Why is that? Some people are quick to jump into the conclusion that maybe they just don't make enough money. And while that may be true for some people, that is not necessarily true for the majority of us. Just think about the last time that you got a raise. Usually what people do after they get a raise is they go ahead and they upgrade their lifestyle, therefore spending more money. So if you can't take care of the money that you have right now, would it really be realistic to think that you're gonna have more control over your money the more money you make? A really good example of this is people that win the lottery. After just 2 or 3 years of them winning the lottery, usually they ended up exactly where they started, if not worse. So making more money is not always the solution. So now that we've established that it's not necessarily how much money we make, but rather how we plan and spend that money, it's easy to see that budgeting will help us do just so. There are 2 sides to budgeting that we need to be very familiar with. The first part is our income. And sometimes we have less control over that side of the equation. The second part is our expenditures. And even though it's hard, that's actually the side that we have more control over, at least in the short term. So that's what we're gonna be focusing on today. With the income that we have, how can we control our expenditures in a way that doesn't lead us to take on more debt? When I'm working on my budget, I always try to remember one thing, that if there's any document in the world that explains what my financial strategy is for my life, that document is most likely my budget. So if you don't have a budget, essentially what you're saying is that you don't have a strategy, and how you spend your money becomes your strategy. So if you're aimlessly spending your money, you'll never achieve your goals. That's why budgeting becomes very, very important. All right, guys, I had to move to my computer. I'm now on my computer, and I'll show you exactly how my spreadsheet works. I hope that this is helpful to you as much as it is helpful to me. So the first thing here that you have to look at is your beginning spending balance. So you go ahead and you put whatever your beginning spending balance is, however much money that you have that you can spend. So that would be, let's say, $200. And let's say that in my savings I had $50. I'm gonna put that right here. And that's gonna be important because I've linked these cells to the rest of the spreadsheet. So, all right, so don't worry about the top part first. Just scroll down and we'll start looking at our income. So you wanna go ahead and determine how much income you have. And I have separated into different categories. So the first one is your wages and tips. And you wanna put here in the months what you're actually bringing in after taxes are taken out. So let's say you're bringing in at home $3,000 a month for January, $3,000 for February. So if you notice here, these graphs are gonna start shifting. 3,000 for March. Let's say that in April, you made more. That'd be 4,500. And then in May, 4,500. In June, let's say 7,000, and so on and so forth. So here you wanna go ahead and put all the money that you have, because you're trying to figure out how much money you make a month. So if you get any interest, let's say if you have money in your savings in your bank, it's paying you an interest, you wanna go ahead and put whatever that interest is. For here, if you don't have one, I recommend you get a high yield account and you'll get some money back for the money that you have. And then if you have some dividends, let's say if you own stocks on a company and they pay you dividends, you wanna go ahead and put that dividend here. So $30, $30, say $30 for the rest of the year. So you want to go ahead and also put that here all the way to December. And what the calculator is doing, it's calculating your totals for the 12 months. And then it's also doing the average. And all these formulas are already linked into the spreadsheet, so it's really easy to just go ahead and compute them. So if you received any gift, any refund, or others, one thing that you'll see here that may look weird is right here. It talks about transfer from savings as an income. It's because my spreadsheet treats your savings as an expense, and you can see that right here. And the reason why I do that is because when I get paid, I want to make sure that I'm paying myself first. Usually, financial advisors advise you to use the 50-30-20 rule. And what that means is 50% of your income should be your fixed expenses, so things that you need to survive, like housing, your car, insurance, food. And then 30% would be your wants. So for your wants would be anything that you wanna spend that you don't necessarily need, but you wanna get it. So this is 30% of your income. And then 20% of it should go to your savings, short and long-term savings. Now, what I do here in this spreadsheet, instead of thinking about it as a 50-30-20, what I do is I think about my budget as a 70-30. 70 because that's the sum of the 50 plus the 20, because I want to make sure that my savings are something that I must do every month, especially after 2020 and how the pandemic just showed us that you really want to have some money saved just in case of a rainy day. So if you look here under your saving expenses, I have savings going to the savings account. Let's say for that you're doing $250 a month, and I've already pre-typed that here. Then let's say by June you want to increase that savings. You can go and continue putting that over here in these cells, and then at the end of the year it's going to give you your total of how much you're saving in that category. Another very important category that you want to budget for is your emergency fund, and that should be 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses, and you want to make sure to build that up as well even before you start saving on your regular short-term savings. And then if you see here, the next criteria that I have is to retirement, and those can be, your 403bs if you're a government employee, your Roth IRAs, your 401ks, whatever those accounts are, you want to go ahead and also put that in your spreadsheet. And then I have another section under savings for investment. So here in this case, I put $150 every month. So I just know that every month I'm saving that for your investments. And then if you are saving for college, I would also put right here to college savings. And then I always put it another, just, if you guys want to go ahead and tweak it, you're more than welcome to. But the formula is already linked, and at the end it's gonna show you exactly how much you're saving and what's the percentage. It's gonna show you what your savings are as a percentage of your expenses, and this should be 20%. This entire category should be 20% of your income. And then the next section is your expenses, and that should be the 50% that I talked about. And that will be your home expenses, let's say your mortgage or rent, your electricity, your gas, oil, water, phone, cable, internet, maintenance, or whatever other categories that you may have. You can go ahead and add them here, and then it'll also do the same thing. It'll go ahead and total it out, and it will also average it. And then I have another category for daily living. I have another category for children, and I put different things that could go under that category. So on the daily living, it could be groceries, personal supplies, clothing, cleaning services. If you have a kid, you also want to put that here for medical, clothing, school tuition, and you can go ahead and continue putting the amounts there. You also have transportation as your fixed expense, and that would be for your car payment if you have one, your fuel, if you take the fur or taxi, repairs. Make sure to add that in here as well. And this worksheet works in the exact same manner. You just compute your numbers here, and it'll give you the total, and you'll give you the average and what that is as a percentage of your total expenses. Of course, health insurance is important, your auto insurance, your home or rental insurance, your life insurance. You also want to go ahead and budget for that. And then education. One thing that I like to budget for education is books. I usually try to read 2 books a month, so that will round about $30 to $40 a month. So I'll just go ahead and put $30 here, $30 here, $30 here. Make sure that you're investing in yourself as well. That's very important. And then the things that I have in yellow are things that are more of an option, but you want to make sure that you're also doing that, and that could be included in the 30% category. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that will be included in the 30% category of your budget. And of course, charity and gift, you want to make sure that you're generous. One of the big mistakes that I see with budgets is that they are too rigid and therefore too hard to stick to. So make sure that you're comfortable with your budget and that it is realistic as well. So I have here an entertainment category, videos, music, games. As long as you budget for it, you should be okay. And I have here pets as well under that wants category. And of course, you want to make sure you have food for your pets, you have medical, you have toys. I have a dog and he loves his toys, so I have to budget for that. Other subscriptions, it's really big right now. So you want to make sure that you actually name your subscriptions right here so that you're not paying for something that you're not using. And if you notice that you're paying for something that you really use, this will be a nice way to keep track of it and cancel it as needed. And of course, vacation. You want to make sure that you're planning for that so that you get to relax, because that's very, very important. So the purpose of this budget is not to prevent you from doing the things that you enjoy. It's more so that you know where your money is going and that you've planned for it. So if you notice that there's one of these areas that you are always going over, you want to make sure to go ahead and adjust that accordingly so that your budget is actually realistic. And the really cool thing about it, once you've inputted all the things here, you go back to the top of the spreadsheet and there's this summary area, and it'll tell you how much your total income is, how much your total expense for each month, and then what the average is for the year. And you can tell right here that this is a scenario that you don't want to be in, because clearly you can see that your expenses are greater than your income. But this was just an example, of course, and you want to make sure that when you budget for it, that you have less expenses than what you make, of course. And the really cool thing too is here, as you save, it shows you your saving balance and your spending balance. So right now, you don't really have anything left because I was just plugging in random numbers, but you want to make sure that both of these areas are positive. And here, the graph will show you exactly what's happening. So right here, you can see your saving is increasing month over month. This is what you want to see. And then right here on the left, you're seeing two different things. So you're seeing your spending balance and you're seeing your saving or your net income. And that is the difference between what you make and what you spend. So you see here, this is what you want to see. You want to see the blue over here, not the red over here, because that shows you that you're negative. And that is this is reflecting these right here. So you see January, February, March, April and May you were negative, but then you were positive. So you want to make sure that you're always positive right here. All right, so after you are done with the spreadsheet, that's a very important step, but it's not the last one. The last one would be that you need to track your own expenses. And the way I do this is by having a money date. So once or twice a month, I go ahead and look through my expenses to see that I'm actually staying within my budget. I usually do this when I get paid. So I get paid 2 times. So 2 times in a month, I go ahead and I go through my expenses to make sure that I'm actually within budget. And this doesn't have to be like a 3-hour marathon. That's not what this is intended to be. You can do that in 10 to 15 minutes. And you can also use like certain apps that will help you. I know Mint is free, mint.com, so you can use that. And just see how you're doing in each category. And that's definitely gonna help you and also help you tweak your budget as needed. All right, now, before we conclude this video, I also wanted to go ahead and recommend you a book that's gonna help you understand a little bit more about the psychology of money. The book is called Mind Over Money by Brad Clontz. And it's really interesting how he just explains how we interact with money. And also he explains, or he categorizes 12 money disorders into 3 main categories. I thought it was really interesting, and go ahead and check it out. All right, you guys, this is all I have for you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed my video. And if you did, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And I will see you guys next time.